No doubt John Thune's ears are perking up at all of this because he has an offer for the president he says is too good to refuse. Mr. President, you let companies take that health care law and just dump it. They'll take that unemployment rate you've been bemoaning and they'll smash it. The Republican South Dakota senator are working on an amendment that would free companies from the law he says costing workers so they can actually have the money to hire workers. The senator's here now to explain. Explain, Senator, and good to have you back.
Good afternoon. Thanks, Neil. Well, look, the president keeps talking about how the economy is recovering. Well, if that's true, why do we have to now, for the 13th time, extend unemployment benefits for long-term employed people? We ought to start looking at fixing the problem and treating the cause rather than treating the symptom. And what we're attempting to do with my amendment is to say we need to make it less expensive for employers to hire employees. So if you're a long-term employed person and you get hired by an employer, you're exempt from the small business or from the business mandate, employer mandate in Obamacare, which would save you about $3,000. We also allow for a 6-month payroll tax holiday for hiring a long-term employed person. Create basically an opportunity for people who have been in that category of long-term unemployed to get a low-interest loan so they can relocate to an area where there is a lower, or I should say a higher unemployment rate than where they are today, because one of the problems we have is that people can't move. That's a barrier for them to get to places where there might be more jobs available. So we're trying to think of practical things that actually address the problem rather than just continuing to deal with the symptom of this. And I think making it less expensive for employers to hire people who've been unemployed for a long period of time makes a lot of sense. And so we're trying to get that considered here in the Senate, and we'll see if Senator Reid allows any Republican amendments to be offered or voted on.
I can't see that he would do that.
Well, it doesn't look like it. I mean, the modus operandi around here of late is that he fills what they call the amendment tree, which blocks any amendments. And the leader, Senator McConnell, pointed out on the floor earlier today that there have only been 4 Republican amendments voted on since July in the United States Senate. And so it's an example of how the wheels have come off here. But on an issue like this, it really is important to the economy. We ought to be having a debate. We ought to be having an opportunity to offer alternatives that actually do address the problem of creating jobs, of creating work and opportunities for these people who've been unemployed for way too long. And if you look at the number of unemployed people in this country, 37% of them are in that category of long-term unemployed. They've been unemployed for more than 27 weeks. We need to be doing something about that. And then maybe we wouldn't have to be constantly having a debate about extending unemployment insurance benefits for yet another 13th time.
Real quickly, though, if you offer businesses the carrot of getting off this health care merry-go-round and they don't hire workers or they just pocket the money, do you feel that they've, fooled you?
Well, it's not like they get to pocket the money. It just they wouldn't have to pay the fine. If you're under the employer mandate, it would save them $3,000. Because if they don't offer a government-approved health insurance plan, they have to pay the penalty. And so what this does is it just exempts those employees, long-term unemployed people, from that cap where that penalty would kick in. And so it's an incentive, an additional incentive. Couple that with the payroll tax holiday, and you've got several $1,000s there of incentives to hire people who've been unemployed for a long period of time.
It makes way too much sense. So, Senator, I hate to say it's going nowhere. But no, we'll see. I always love having you. Senator, thank you very much.
All right, great being with you. Thanks, Neil.
Senator John Thune. They do have middle ground issues here. They can